Today on Startup Central, we have a date with the 25th unicorn of 2021. That's right, it's not even September. 25 new unicorns have been minted. The 25th unicorn of this year is Zetwork, which is, you can think of it as a B2B marketplace for manufacturing. It's about 3 to 4 years old. Joining us now is the big boss, Amrit Acharya from Zetwork. Amrit, a big congratulations. When all of you started, 3 to 4 years ago, did you think that by 2021 itself, you'll be commanding a valuation of more than $1 billion?
Thanks, Narendra, for having me. When we started the company 3 years ago, it definitely feels like yesterday. When we started the company at that point of time, I think I just returned to India, and there was Swiggy had just become a unicorn, and definitely felt like it was a long journey ahead. We were pretty ready for that. I think more importantly, what we found today that very interesting is we're able to grow in a very sustainable, capital efficient manner. While we have turned a unicorn this year, I think more importantly, we've also turned profitable. So that's even more exciting for us, that while we're able to grow the business in a highly accelerated manner, we're able to do it very capital efficient.
Okay. So now tell me a little bit of what happens next. I know founders, startups always say they were never looking at the unicorn milestone, but it has happened. Can you tell us what are the other big milestones you're looking at?
Yeah, I think number one milestone for us was we turning profitable. We turned EBITDA positive this year, which indicates the growth that we're having is highly sustainable, and ultimately we started the company with an intention to build a institution that outlives us in a way, and being profitable is a very important milestone there. I think the second one is today almost 20% of our revenue comes from international market, primarily US. We started the company with the goal of really starting with India, but really making for the world. And these are all milestones that indicate that we are somewhere there in that process. Obviously, we have a long way to go. We have just started. We're 3 years old, all of these things will magnify in a big way in the next 5-10 years.
Yes, you're a very rare unicorn because you're also a profitable unicorn. You're talking about building for India and the world from India. Sequoia Capital is, of course, part of your cap table. I know that's the big theme when it comes to startups, that build for India and build for the world. But the question I also want to ask you is, Amrit, that yes, you're 3 years old, but the B2B marketplace, you're seeing many more new players come out, right? And I'm sure you made the same observation. What will be Zetwork's differentiator?
Yeah, I think it's a very important question, and we actually hope that more companies enter this market. It's not a very well understood market. What we do, Narendra, as a company is we take a digital design, and a design can be built in piece of paper or software, and we convert that into a physical product. Like, we serve very, very niche use cases. One of our customers in the US is a nail clipper company. It's a product we all use, but we don't ever think about how this product was ever made. We have customers who serve aerospace requirements, make aircraft engine components for these large companies like Boeing and Airbus. It's a very, very diverse and differentiated set of use cases. Ultimately, we will play in that market where these products, the key problem to solve is how do you get these products made faster, better, cheaper, and how can India be the next big manufacturing destination for companies looking to move out of China and have a China plus one kind of strategy. Zetwork can be that vehicle through which you can access the Indian market.
And you must have gained a lot as far as, when we all, as China plus one gains traction in the manufacturing world, the corporate world, in trade relations as well. Have you been a direct beneficiary of that?
Yeah, today we have 100 customers, which are primarily from international countries. US is the biggest market for us, with almost 80% of that coming from the US. But we have customers in US, Australia, Europe. All of these companies are buying from India for the first time. We mentioned this nail clipper company, aerospace company, medical devices, electric vehicles. These are companies which have never transacted with India before. In a way, this is directly adding to the GDP of the country. Today, this is almost 20% of our revenue, and it's only going to grow.
Okay, I take that point. Something else I wanted to ask you, Amit, was that you're saying it's only going to grow. You've got new clients who are now buying for the first time from India. You have seen your own valuation double, right, in the last 12 odd months. Have you also doubled in size, or is that just for the valuation perspective and given the gush of liquidity?
No, we our last round is in February, Nayantara. So between our last round and now, we have doubled in size, and on a year-on-year basis, we have grown 3x in size. So the company is actually growing in a big way. And as we look at this year moving forward, last year we did around 950 crores of revenue. This year we're looking to do at least 4x of that. So even though the company is the largest it has ever been, we're also growing the fastest we have ever grown. And the big reason for this is the shift to digital manufacturing. Some of it was driven by the pandemic, but is here to stay now. And actually nobody else is really offering the customers we work with any alternative solution. So we see a long runway ahead.
Explain that a little bit more to us. The new age manufacturing, digital manufacturing, might be about matching the right vendor with the person looking to shop. But the digital manufacturing part, can you explain to our viewers?
Yeah, like it's a little technical, but what happens is, let's say a factory wants to make a simple product. Let's take an example of a door. Nobody keeps an inventory of doors. You can't go to the market and buy a door. You have to give a design of a door. It has to be, let's say, so much size, of a certain shape. It has to be a certain thickness, and it has to be, maybe I want it painted red. So I give these specifications in a format which is basically a design, and I share that with a bunch of suppliers, which is what we facilitate. We get this design, we can distribute it to a large number of manufacturing entities, and some of them will say that, yeah, I can make this door. It will cost you, $100, and I can make it in 3 months' time. And then the customer decides that, yeah, this is acceptable, and they place an order. From there onwards, we give complete visibility. Yeah, the door, it will take 3 months to make. In the first month, we have already done 20% of the progress. In the next few months, etc., all the way till the product finally gets delivered to the customer. So this entire process, it's not as simple as going to a website and saying, I just want a door. It's a very complex kind of transaction, and the software we have built enables that entire process from start to finish.
Including the design.
Yeah, no, the design is what we get from our customers. We take that as an input, and we can matchmake it with the right small manufacturer. We can then price it. Today you can't get a price for a door. It has to be basis how much does it cost to make this. So we have algorithms which can price that design, and then finally we solve for fulfillment, which is making sure that the product reaches the customer on time.
So for Zetwork, you match the person who needs the requirement with the right vendor. So does it work with you said there's an algorithm. So like do various vendors and suppliers bid, and and then it's up to them who they go with, or what?
It's a combination. So we set the price, saying we think that this is to make this door, it should cost $100, and then we distribute it to the various manufacturing partners in our network. And then the folks can say, yes, I agree with this price and I agree with this time. And then they say, yeah, I'm ready to pick up this job. And then that's how matchmaking and selection happens. Over a period of time, that gets repeated with more and more designs. Today we do close to $2 billion of designs every quarter. And only a fraction of that is what gets ultimately picked up by the manufacturing partners on the platform.
You said you're profitable, and this fundraise, which minted a new unicorn, minted Zetwork into a unicorn, was $150 million. What are you going to do with $150 million?
I mean, two, three things. Like, end of the day, we are still a 3-year-old company. While we are profitable, it means that the growth we have is sustainable. We still need to invest a lot of money into R&D. Building great software takes a decade, and we are just 3 years old. We have done a lot, but there's so much more to do. At the same time, we are our international business is picking up very, very in a strong way. And today it's 20% of our revenue. But as we grow, we want to explore more markets. US, Europe, Middle East are some of these markets that are interesting for us. Lastly, we also think that we can't solve all these problems by ourselves. So we are looking at partnering with other companies through organic and inorganic ways, M&A being one of them, to see how we can solve these problems together.
I always ask this from the newly minted unicorns. For someone sitting outside, everything looks so hunky-dory, so easy. Everything is like touching into gold. But it's not like that, right? When you look at the initial days, did you stare at an almost, failure-like instance? Can you share with us certain anecdotes, the kind of hardship that you had to go through?
I mean, today, like, people have at least heard about us. But when we started the company 3 years ago, the questions I used to get was, "Why are you doing this? And what are you doing exactly? Like, why this is such a niche market?" People didn't believe that this could be a big market. I think it just comes down to your individual conviction, and hopefully you find people along the way who share that. But I remember at least in our seed round, we spoke to almost 30-40 folks, and it was really, really hard to raise that initial round of capital. It was $1 million, which today feels, in the context of a $150 million round, feels small. But that was the toughest round for us to raise. Since then, we have had multiple proof points that this business model can work. We have been fortunate to have multiple very supportive partners throughout the journey. But the first round of capital was extremely painful.
How long did it take you to raise that $1 million in seed funding?
So I came back from the US to India in Jan. We ended up closing our round in August. So we started the process somewhere in between. But it took many months to close that round.
Do you remember who your first customer was?
Yeah, our first customer was this German company. They're a small company in India, but they're a pretty large German account. And again, even that first customer, it took us almost 2-3 months to get them to agree to work with us. Today, our sales cycles it takes weeks, or maximum it takes a month. But that first customer also took us close to 2 to 3 months. Multiple discussions, multiple back and forth. It was a German OEM. They make cement mills. Today we work with many magnitudes of larger company sizes. But yeah, it was pretty challenging to get these first accounts.
How things change, and what sometimes seems so impossible that ends up going into autopilot mode, doesn't it, Amrit, when you look back? But with that, I'd like to thank you for taking the time out on your big day, for joining us here on ET Now. Big congratulations to you and the entire team at Zetwerk.
No, thank you so much for having me, and look forward to catching up again.